So I've been thinking for weeks what I was going to say on the BBC for today, and I could not come up with anything. I survived the inauguration. And I really see the President and I have some very different views on things. He wants to put America first. That was the message of the inaugural speech, that we're withdrawing from the rest of the world and only taking care of ourselves. And we're going to build a wall to isolate ourselves from everybody else and not trade with anybody else and just keep everything within our own country. And as a Buddhist, you know, what do we hear? We hear all sentient beings again and again and again. Every time we take refuge and generate bodhicitta, you know, zillions of times a day, all sentient beings, all sentient beings, all sentient beings. And so I think this is perhaps the chief divergence that he and I have. Because I really believe when His Holiness says, if you want to be happy and take care of yourself, you have to take care of others. Yeah, that just taking care of yourself, your own country, your own whatever, is not going to produce well-being for yourself, simply because we live in a world where we are interdependent. Yeah, that isolating ourselves from others, creating an us and them, and just working for our own benefit alone is basically a backfire strategy. We've been doing it since beginningless time in samsara, always thinking me, I, my, and mine. And now his message is, as a country, we think me, I, my, and mine. Except, of course, there's no unified me, I, my, and mine in this country. But, you know, to realize how dependent we are on other living beings. As a country, isolating ourselves from the rest of the world and not caring about the welfare of the rest of the world is going to bring about the same results that when we do it on a personal level, when we just think about ourselves and isolate ourselves from everybody else. So, as we know, as people who are practicing bodhicitta, how difficult it can be to open your heart to other living beings, how tight our self-centered attitude is, how much we think that we have to defend ourselves against enemies that may be real and are often just created by our own mind. And we know on a personal level, doing these meditations, how difficult it is to transform like that. So you can only imagine for a whole country, you know, the thing of opening the window, opening the vision, broadening the mind. So, but we also know that sometimes you don't change until you get tired of knocking your head against the wall. Yeah? So maybe during these 4 years, the country will knock its head against the wall and maybe knock some sense into it and see that we live in an interdependent world, and that yes, we want to help our own citizens, but when we take care of people in other countries, when we trade with them, even when we build factories in their countries and uplift the status of the poor people in those other countries, it benefits us. Yeah, when we benefit others, we benefit from their well-being. Yeah. And we know this on a personal level too, don't we? Yeah. I mean, we live together here in a community. If we don't help each other and we're competitive and jealous and arrogant with each other, nobody is going to be happy here. Yeah. You know, I mean, really, for human happiness, we have to show care and affection to each other and to take care of each other. And so I think this is our practice, especially strong during these next 4 years. You know, to live it on an individual basis, to speak it loud and clear. You know, that we respect all living beings. We think equality is something that we should actually have, not in just in words, but in actions. You know, and that compassion is something that is very important, and compassion is not weak. Yeah, compassion is strong. Yeah. I think all this bluster is weakness, because as soon as your ego doesn't get its strokes, your bluster, you know, just turns into baby talk, you know? But if you have compassion, even in the face of difficulty, you have inner strength, and you stand up for what you believe in and what you know in your heart is right, and you stand up for it in a way that does not create us and them, that does not create, that does not advocate violence, that does not, set everybody on edge. Yeah, but we have to still advocate for those values to everybody. Yeah, and that's our job. And they say that Bodhisattvas never wince in the face of difficulties. So whether we're Bodhisattvas or not, maybe we have to be politically correct now and pretend to be Bodhisattvas. You know? And what did they say? Fake it until you make it? Yeah? And really try and live what we believe in, because that's the only way to do it. Yeah? So along that line, I received an email from one of our friends at Maitripa. And she wrote, "Dear Venerable Children and all the inspiring sisters of Sravasti, I heard that you all will be participating in the Spokane Women's March on Washington. You know, the one people are going to tomorrow. And I wanted to let you know this lifts my heart and strengthens my motivation, as I'm sure it does and will for many. Thank you for helping to create peace, particularly in these times, to keep our inner moral compass ever aligned to the bright light of wisdom and compassion you shine. May you have complete safety, joyful ease, unbound energy, comfy shoes, and a clear voice." And then she says, "I hope to find your accounts and reflections online in the days and weeks to come." Yeah? So what we do makes a difference. Yeah. We haven't even gone to the march yet, and it's made a difference. Yeah. So I think the more we, pay attention to our spiritual values, which I think are basic common sense when you see what works in the world and what doesn't work in the world. Yeah. Equanimity works in the world. Cherishing others above self works in the world. Yeah. And so to really integrate this in our hearts this time. And we have no choice. There is no choice. Yeah. Because, I mean, what is the other choice? We don't want to go down that road. Okay? So, yeah, let's keep our values, our practice in our hearts, and go forward with optimism and inclusion and kindness wherever we go and whoever we meet, and without fear. Okay.